Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome into another day of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here. It is Tuesday, second day of the week, getting after it. Today's always I feel like the worst day of the week to me. It's Monday. It's past Monday. That was just boring and back to work. You realize you have 4 more days to go. For me, Tuesdays are always the worst. But hey, we're going to try to make this better. That's why you're joining this show, right? So today, I'm going to talk about the topic of priorities aren't options. I'm going to tie this into the daily quote. I'm going to talk a little bit about this. And just a quick little story about this is that, inside of my life, at least, there's the option to do a bunch of different things all the time. Like, you have a million options of whatever you can do at any point in time, right? Like, you can choose to do this, you can choose to do that, whether it's housework, whether it's, family stuff, whether it's fitness stuff, whether it's business related things. Like, you always have a multitude of things that you can do. Like, if anyone ever says that they're bored, they're lying to you, because there's any different things that you can be doing at any given time. Like, honestly, you can be learning, you can be studying, you can be doing a whole bunch of different things. And sometimes that's overwhelming, right? Like, I get into that place where I get so overwhelmed by all of the things I have to do. At least I tell myself I have to do. When I step back and look at it objectively, sometimes I realize that a lot of the things that I need to do are merely just not as important as others, right? It's setting those priorities. So making those options a priority is the black hole of never being able to get anything productive done, right? So I'm going to tie that into the quote of the day today. When I pulled this up, I really thought that this was something great to talk about. The quote of the day is, "Never allow someone to be your priority while allowing yourself to be their option." Never allow someone to be your priority while allowing yourself to be their option, which I thought was a really great quote, and it really applies it across a lot of different areas. When you read that quote, it turns into a relationship thing, right? Like, you see these all the time. I've seen this quote on Facebook before, and it kind of comes down to these relationships where there's one person that is like dependent on the other, right? Like, there's someone that is like super committed to the well-being and happiness and love of the other person, and then the other person in return does not give a shit. Like, they literally just treat that person like dirt. They just cast them aside, don't prioritize them, don't really love them, just kind of use and abuse them, right? And it's sad to see in this reality, but there are relationships that work that way, right? Because you have one person that is just like committed to just making the other person happy. And then there's this other person that just does not give a crap, right? So, like, this is how it ties into the priorities and the options. So the one person is making the other person a priority. Like, they are putting off other things in order to do things for that person. In return, the second person is making the first person their option. So they're prioritizing other things over that person, which creates this imbalance, right? And it's just a toxic mix of never being able to be on the same page, never getting anything done, never actually being in sync. And it obviously, leads to a lot of relationships that die in that way. But I think this ties into a lot of other things as well. Like, in your daily routine or your daily life or whatever you do, if you continue to make the things that are optional to you a priority, just like I talked about earlier, you get sucked into that black hole of never being able to get anything meaningful done. Like, if you just are constantly doing little petty, tasks or stupid things at work just to avoid doing the big scary thing you're trying to do, or you just, half-ass it in your workout every day, and you don't actually make a priority of pushing yourself and getting better and actually, progressing or losing weight or whatever you're trying to do, you're just making those optional things priorities, and you're just spinning your wheels, right? On the other hand, if you actually take the time to make priorities and stick to them, like, you become a committed person. Like, you just become someone that's absolutely different, and I've done this across my life. I've seen other people do it across their lives. But the key is, you have to make those things a priority when they're not important. Like, you have to take time to focus on your fitness. You have to take time to focus on continual learning at work. Like, you can't just be like, oh, this is optional and I'm just going to do it when I have time to do it, because you'll never do it. You'll never make it a priority. So, like, even though, like, this podcast takes up time every day for me, like, I make it a priority because I am committed to it. I don't have to do this, but I am ruthlessly committed to doing this every single day, bringing value to you guys that listen every single day, and growing this into something that could really change a lot of people's lives, right? Like, I don't have to do this every day, but I make it a priority. It's not an option. Like, I literally sit down and do this every single day. So the lesson for today is this. Priorities aren't options, and options shouldn't be priorities. So that's the lesson, okay? Priorities aren't options, and options aren't priorities. See how it kind of turns on its head there? Take some time to think about that today. I mean, my daily challenge for you is to think of this. Like, think of one area in your life where you are making things that are optional your priorities, and you're just spinning your wheels. Like, where is that in your life? Is it in your fitness, in your business, in a relationship, or whatever it might be? There's somewhere in your life, I guarantee there's places in my life where this happens. Happens to all of us. But that doesn't mean we can't course correct. So where is that area in your life that you are making options a priority? And how can you start prioritizing things and making them not an option? That's my daily challenge for you guys. So as always, this is Dan Hafner, going to wrap up today's show. As always, thank you all for joining the Run Your Day podcast. Be sure to check out our Facebook page at Run Your Day on Facebook. I'll post up today's daily challenge there as well. I really think that this is a great, topic for you guys to really dive deeper into. If you want to hear any additional information, you can always send a direct message to the Run Your Day podcast through the Anchor app. I'm going to start featuring some of those on the shows here as well. You just open up the Anchor app, click on the Run Your Day podcast, and click message, and you can record a voice message to send directly to me, Dan Hafner, the man, the myth, the legend. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up today's show. As always, thank you for joining. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.